I'm flying my drone right now, getting some B-roll, and my drone is getting followed by like 20, it looks like bumblebees. So weird, I've never seen that. I've seen it get followed by like birds and shit, but look how many bees that is. Oh my god. Look at that. They're all following Droney. What do you want from them? That's so weird. Every time I ride my boosted board or my bike around Santa Monica, I'm always looking for some inspiration. And that could come from anywhere. The only thing I have to do is really keep my mind open. And that's exactly what happened when I passed this Porsche Ferrari shop. Now, anytime there is a building with a bunch of dope cars in it, I'm gonna be intrigued. When I was riding by the Ferrari shop and I started shooting the car outside, the owner, Paul, came out and we just started bullshitting about cars and photos and video and all that stuff. And I was like, hey man, we should shoot something on your shop. And he's like, what do you want to shoot? And I'm like, I don't know, let's just shoot something.
Part of what I do, it's not just working on cars, man. I gotta convince people, talk to them, sell myself, sell what we do. You know, there's a lot of people that mechanics have a horrible rap, man. We're thieves, liars, and so you gotta kind of sell yourself too.
What happened to this thing?
It had a bad window regulator, so we had the parts are so expensive that we ended up making one good regulator out of two.
Okay.
So I had to do a little bit of fab work and some welding. But this model is notorious for having window alignment problems where the windows will just fall out of alignment and you can't roll the window up. It's one of the soft points of the 456.
Yeah.
And then we had a suspension issue. The suspension works hydraulically with an assistance of some high pressure, and it also works the brake system too. So the guy was having problems with the brakes and the suspension where it would just feel like it was bottoming out. Conector tiene como plano y
So your dad owned this shop, right?
Yeah, so my dad started this place in 1978. The Sam was a tech around the corner actually. There was a place just up the street from here that worked on Ferraris, and this place used to be a gas station and had been empty for a couple years. There was kind of this whole recession going on in the late 70s with the gas crunch and just, so people were kind of looking for tenants, and this place had been empty for a while, and the guy that owned it was kind of took a liking to my dad and said, just get in there, pay me as you go.
And then you started working here as a kid?
Yeah, I kind of always worked here. I was kind of a latchkey kid and just always hung out at the shop, and my dad would take me everywhere with them, a lot of races, and I remember going to the Long Beach Grand Prix in the 70s, and back then you could walk on the paddock and seeing the Ferraris guys there, and watching these drivers that are long gone now, and Gilles Villeneuve and those kind of dudes, and just always been around it, just a gearhead,
So did you have to go to school?
Oh yeah, I totally went to tech school, sure, yeah, I went to trade schools, and I still go to classes, I still learn. Can't stop learning or you'll get left in the dust.
what are your thoughts on like buying a used Ferrari or like a used Porsche or Maserati? What do you think?
Well, I think that just got to do a little bit of homework in the sense that you got to make sure that you're getting a car that you're not going to inherit a bunch of issues, from neglecting owners or accidents or so you got to kind of like just with anything in life, make sure that you're doing enough research to where you're not going to get hurt. The most common thing you see with Ferraris is neglect. A lot of these guys buy these cars and never use them. And because they don't use them, they feel that, hey, I never used it. It doesn't need anything. But that's not the case. You're talking about machinery, and machinery needs to be used. And not only that, I mean, it needs to be serviced. And if you have a car that's sat around for 10 years and you think, hey, there's nothing wrong with it because I never used it, it's not the case. You're going to have issues with fluids or, rubber components that have deteriorated. And a lot of these Ferraris their timing components are made out of rubber. So you gotta, or the parts that drive the components are made out of rubber. So you gotta, make sure that's been serviced, or you could have a catastrophic failure. So that's one of the most common things I see with Ferraris is the lack of use and the person's understanding, of the seller's understanding that, hey, it doesn't need anything. And you get a lot of that because it's a toy at the end of the day. This isn't a car you're driving every single day. It'd be impossible to drive a Ferrari every day, and that's pretty much what I see a lot of when it comes to Ferraris that are used and are for sale.